Good afternoon, folks. Chief Meteorologist Nick Lilia here with your tropical update, brought to you by the good folks at Tropical Pool and Spa for September 19th of 2018. We haven't had anything new happen in the last 24 hours, thank goodness. We're still waiting for Kirk to show up, and hopefully it never does. We've passed the peak of hurricane season. We are now tumbling down the hill toward the end of the year. I think we're all ready for that after Florence. Areas of development right now, we're looking out into the open Atlantic, and by the time we get toward October, things may be a little bit closer to home. The water temperatures are still nice and warm. Low to mid 80s as you head out into the Atlantic. A little closer to our neck of the woods, the upper 80s to right around 90 degrees. Yes, even this late in September, and that is why the Gulf of Mexico is always a place to watch for the development of tropical systems. Not much happening right now. We've got the remnants of Isaac are still in here, trying their best to float around, but for the most part, Isaac is, even the remnants, they're pretty much done with. The National Hurricane Center not too concerned about any development here as it crosses over the Yucatan. A little further back, we've got a mid-level swirl. We've got what's left of Florence well off to the north. And then we've got this cluster down here. Now, yesterday I said, well, this is pretty close to the equator. We're not too terribly concerned with it right now. The National Hurricane Center is coming here and said, well, there's a 10% chance we see something in the next 2 to 5 days. This was as high as 20% last night. You know, you could argue there's a very broad area of attempted low to mid-level rotation, area of low pressure in here trying-ish to form. But as of right now, it's just a wave. It's lined up with a little Kelvin wave out here. As we look at the modeling, it doesn't really do much with this. This is by the time we get toward Thursday and into Friday. There's just a lot of dry air out here, not only into the open Atlantic, but as you get a little bit closer to home and to the East Coast, we've got another wave coming off the coast of Africa out here, which may try and get a little better organized. Notice, I think by the time we get toward Monday, it's still well off to the east of the Greater and Lesser Antilles, kind of in the same place, this next wave, as the current wave is right now. The Caribbean is still a very hostile area. As this gets a little bit closer, notice that it does kind of fall apart by the time we get toward next Thursday, and by the time we get to Friday, it's pretty much donezo. A little bit closer to home, we start to see fronts actually start to push through the area as we head through October, which means we're going to have to keep an eye on the Gulf for the tail end of those fronts that kind of break off to make sure they don't start swirling around into the Gulf of Mexico. In the meantime, though, thank goodness, we're quieting things down in the tropics. So there's your tropical update brought to you by the good folks at the Tropical Pool and Spa for September the 19th of 2018.